Good morning, and thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, and to my dear friend and my leader, Dr. Felix Ortiz, and Senator, thank you so very much for being here. I'm going to apologize because I have a commitment at 3:30 at 2:45. I have to leave around 2:30 because I have a commitment at 3:30. So I just wanted to say a few words of encouragement in reference to the topic of this workshop. I am a social worker by profession, and I happen to be an assemblywoman by election, having served 23 years in the state assembly, and now having served 3 years as the deputy speaker. Before I was elected to the assembly, I worked at the New York State, what is now, when I was there, it was called the Office of Mental Retardation and OMRDD, Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities. I am by profession a licensed psychiatric social worker. And when I was working in the field, autism was not an issue that was in crisis. And I have seen the numbers of those young people who are suffering from this disorder, Asperger's syndrome, autism, and it seems to be that it has escalated without understanding. One of the reasons I want to defer to the experts on the panel is because they have prepared to share with you their information. My position is to hear what your issues are and to return to the legislative body, working with my friend Dr. Ortiz, and I call him Felix, but he doesn't like to be called doctor, but he is. He has earned the privilege to be called Dr. Ortiz. And he shared with me, with my students, I am an adjunct professor at Adelphi University. And I teach students who are in their master's program. They're not allowed to take my course until they have reached a level that they can understand and integrate the social work profession with the legislative process. And when Dr. Ortiz spoke to my class, which was held here in January 2011, he left them awestruck with the information he shared and with the family and the personal experiences that he was willing to share with those students. And they have been forever changed. I've also observed Mr. Ortiz when he served with nutrition. And he was relentless in assuring that our young people have the same opportunity of good nutrition so that this next generation will not be worse than we are, but better. And so I want to encourage you to continue to, especially the panel, those of you with the expertise and the information that you give to us, to continue because we are in crisis. But if we are not whole, and as my mother used to tell me when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, she would say, "Early, if you don't have your health, nothing matters." I could not understand what that 40-year-old woman was trying to impart to me. Because to me, what mattered except a miniskirt, the latest dance, what I could find at the basketball game, it didn't matter about health. But as we age, we understand that health is more important than anything else because money cannot replace health. And if we do not have the necessary funds to assure that health is holistic from the roots of your hair to the bottoms of your feet, and the stigma of that which is considered mental health has to be eradicated. There are too many people who are suffering with depression, loneliness, the inability to find a job, with suicidal tendencies. Too many young people are committing suicide because they have no hope. And we must not give up, because without that generation, there is no future. Our greatest resource, the greatest resource we have, is our children. And so, if you would be so kind as to accept my not sharing this photo with these distinguished professionals, and allow me to sit here and listen. And certainly, I will be talking to Dr. Ortiz and my colleague in the Senate, and all of my colleagues, to assure that those funds that are necessary for holistic health, that those funds will be restored, and that all of us will one day, if we need those services, they will be there for us. I thank you for the privilege. It is my honor to be here this morning. I have a very large Hispanic community, and I represent those who cannot speak for themselves, and you are there representing those who cannot be here. So finally, thank you so much for the privilege, and I shall be here tomorrow also, and my favorite is Sunday at mock session. Thank you so very much. God bless.